Welcome, everyone, to the author interview and book club for A Heart to Find by Amanda Torrey, who we have here with us today. I'm your host, author Christine DePetrillo, and I'm ready to ask Amanda the questions you want answered. I hope you're all ready to travel with us today. First, before I lose myself in gushing about how fantastic this book is, let's learn a little bit about Amanda. I'm going to read her bio. USA Today bestselling author Amanda Torrey enjoys spending time with her adult children and her real-life hero. She loves all things book-related, playing in nature, hugging trees, traveling, taking road trips, especially the kind that make everyone around her question her sanity, and binge watching her favorite shows. Amanda is in love with elephants in Scotland, and she is a true believer in happily ever afters. She bursts into an instant good mood when people are unexpectedly kind or polite, and thinks there's nothing greater than connecting with a stranger through a smile. She loves meeting new people and especially loves to hear from readers. And on that note, there are so many ways to connect with Amanda. You can visit her website, the amandabookverse.com, which I think is the best name for a website, to see all of her books and sign up for her newsletter. You can follow her author page on Facebook at facebook.com/Amanda Torrey author. You can join her Facebook reader group, Amanda Torrey's World of Whimsy Bookverse. You can follow her on Amazon so you never miss a new release. And you can find her on Goodreads and BookBub by searching for Amanda Torrey. So before we continue, a caution up front. This interview contains spoilers. So if you haven't read A Heart to Find, what are you waiting for? Like seriously. It's a delightful read and it should be moved to the very top of your to be read pile like today.
Thank you.
And secondly, if you haven't read it, save this video right now and give it a watch after you read and enjoyed A Heart to Find. That way you won't ruin a truly remarkable story experience for yourself. So, yeah, I mean, I have to hold back because I just want to just immediately start gushing about this book. Okay, I really do. It was so heartwarming, so lovely. And I don't normally reread books, but I did reread this one several times.
Thank you.
So for listeners, and again, if you've read it, you know, in A Heart to Find, we're back at Sweetheart Island Resort off the coast of Maine with a fresh couple. We have our heroine, who is a kindergarten teacher, Kiara Holden. She wants to find a love like her grandparents had, but she kind of has grown wary of the traditional soulmate search. And that's how she ends up turning to matchmaking. And then we have our hero, who is a travel blogger, Jared Marshall, who checks into Sweetheart Island Resort because of his late wife's wishes, which that whole storyline I absolutely loved because it's so unusual. And as the story unfolds, we have ourselves a sweet romance with all the tropes: second chance, forced proximity, single dad hero, which is one of my faves, found family, that happily ever after that we crave, matchmaking. So we've got all the good things here. So, and just up front, I have to say how much I loved Jared. One of my top heroes. I fell for him as early as chapter 3. Like I was just like, yep, okay, I love this guy. And I want to start off just by giving, you know, everyone just a taste of how wonderful Jared is, just by reading an excerpt, if that's okay with you.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for this gushing. You make me sound so much better than I am.
Well, you know, I'm coming off watching, you know, the Taylor Swift podcast and the introduction that she got on that show. So I wanted to make sure. I mean, I can scream and yell if you want, but I don't know that anybody wants to hear that.
I do the Jason Kelsey thing. We might
yeah. I mean, you deserve that kind of energy. I just don't know if I can summon up that Jason Kelsey energy for you, but
it's a little early in the day for that. Right?
It is. Yeah. I haven't stretched out properly to, you know, really get that going.
We'll do that
So
after cocktail hour.
yes. Yeah, that's a later in the day activity. And if you've read Hard to Find, which you should have, you'll love hearing this scene again too. I think that this scene really shows, what Jared wants for Kiara. It's not so much like what he's going to get out of this relationship; it's what he wants her to get out of it. So here we go. Excerpt from A Heart to Find by Amanda Torrey. So Jared and Kiara are on one of their dates at Sweetheart Island Resort, and they are painting. So Jared carefully placed a tray of paints in front of the wildly grinning Kiara, then settled his apron body onto the wobbly stool, unable to stop himself from bursting into a full smile at the gleeful smirk she sent his way. His version of art was capturing what he could see through the lens of a camera, not trying to create something out of nothing on a blank canvas. Her twinkling eyes proved that she remembered his dislike for creating in this medium. He'd do anything she wanted if it meant breathing the same air as Kiara. She'd see the man he became rather than the man he once was. Interesting choice of scenes to paint for someone who never wanted to leave her hometown. Jared studied her from the corner of his eye, surprised to find her flinch before recovering. I didn't have the craving for adventure that you did, but that doesn't mean I never dreamed of escaping to a faraway castle. Before he could ask her all the questions that flooded his head at her unexpected comment, the instructor called them to attention and directed them to paint their canvas blue. How this blob of paint was going to turn into a rolling Scottish countryside with a medieval castle was beyond him, but he'd subject himself to the painting class 100 times if it meant listening to her giggle beside him or her brush listening to her giggle beside him as her brush glided over the canvas in a dance of merriment. As their paintings began to take shape, he had to admit that he hadn't been joking about his own lack of talent. He leaned toward her and whispered, "I think my castle more closely resembles a jagged rock, and the sheep looks like a cloud fell onto the field here." Her giggle had the power to make him float. "Yours, on the other hand, looks exactly like a castle my rental car broke down near." She paused mid-stroke and shifted her upper body toward him slightly. "You've been near a real castle?" "Of course, many times. Photographing castle ruins is practically my bread and butter. People who happen upon my travel blog love them." Was she playing him, or had she never actually searched him online? "Well, now you're just bragging." She wrinkled her nose at him, but the corners of her lips lifted at the same time. "The closest thing to a castle I've been near is the Armory in Healing Springs." "That's because you're not into traveling. I think you'd love Scotland, though, if you ever decided to venture off this continent." She sighed and resumed adding details to the grass around her castle. "Convince me." That was a challenge he was up for. He spent the next 20 minutes feeding her non-adventurous soul tales of the beautiful countryside, the bleeding sheep, and the mystical feeling that came over him whenever he walked around the ruins. Her intent listening made his belly feel like it was filled with a warm ball of goo. She seemed to enjoy hearing about the kindness of the people, how they'd stop to let a pedestrian cross the road even if there wasn't a crosswalk in sight, their hospitality, their humor, and of course, their whiskey. It sounds all so surreal. Feels that way too. He reached for the vial of gray paint at exactly the same moment she did. Their fingers brushed, sending a jolt of sensation up his arm. She jerked away and rubbed her fingers across her forehead, streaking herself with grass green paint. He reached over to clear away the smudge, but she jumped back as if under attack. Her stool clanked to the floor, attracting the attention of everyone in the room. "Oh, oops." She bent to rescue the fallen stool at the same time he bent to retrieve it. Their heads bonked together hard enough that someone in the room gasped from the cracking sound. Kiera burst into laughter, pressing painted fingers to her head, making the initial smudge seem small in comparison. Jared came to the rescue with a damp rag he grabbed from a neighboring couple, but when he tried to swipe the paint away, he made it worse. Realizing he should have checked to be sure the rag was clean, he cringed and tried to apologize, but her laughter only grew stronger. Wanting nothing more than to get her to the point of snorting in laughter, he wiped the soiled rag across his own face, grimacing exaggeratedly, hoping she'd laugh even harder. "Well, we might as well match, I suppose." She didn't let him stop there. She reached behind him and grabbed a vial of paint. With a twinkle in her mascara-smeared eyes, she squeezed dots of paint over his cheeks and chin. He puckered up and posed as if modeling for the cover of a men's magazine. Snort. Mission accomplished. Kiara's snort made her crumple into more laughter. He couldn't contain his own glee, especially as she clutched her cheeks and exclaimed that they hurt from laughing so much. He wanted this for her, this pure, unbridled joy. Like, let us just take a moment and just absorb the fantasticness of Jared. I mean, wanting to nothing more than to make her laugh and to see her be joyful.
That was really special to me to hear someone else reading my book to me. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Well, I mean, this perfect example of why we need to swoon and sigh over Jared, for sure.
I do appreciate it. I do.
All right. So then I'm hopefully now you're all warmed up and you're ready to be in the hot seat, to be put on the spot, to be interrogated on all the things are hard to find. You ready?
I think I'm ready. I don't know.
Okay. You're ready. You're ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
First
question. What inspired you to write this particular book?
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for this wonderful introduction and for doing this with me. This is so exciting to be able to talk to you and to whoever wants to listen to it about this book. As you know, but some of our listeners may not know, we dreamed up this series way back. Is it 2017? Is that what we figured out? We had to track back through our old messages. We came up with this idea of the matchmaking resort. Christine is always on top of things and wrote hers in was it 2018 or 2019? It was really early on, and I didn't write mine until 2020. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it leads into why I wrote this particular book in this series. I'm gonna stumble over how to how to say it. So in this book, it's meant to be a very lighthearted, joyful finding love, but I did want to give my heroine a little bit of challenge emotionally, and my hero. I just really like torturing characters and making them, a little sad. It just makes the payoff so much better. Right? So I chose to give her a storyline where she adamantly is opposed to being matched with a single dad. And the reason is not because she doesn't love children, because she does. She's a teacher. She wants children of her own. She just had a backstory where she had somebody in her family who weaponized children against her and removed them from her life when there was conflict. And this is not an autobiographical tale, but I did have an experience like that with my family, which is what had kept me from writing for all those years. And thankfully, Christine is exceedingly patient, excessively patient with me. She waited till I was ready. And I think a lot of writers can relate to the fact that sometimes we sort of use books as our therapy, right? We work out some issues that we had. This is not based on me, but the feelings are based on what I experienced through this loss and through this. It's a very particular kind of loss. And I just wanted to kind of explore it and let her go through it. And, like I said, the story is completely different from mine. It was somebody close to me in my family, and it was a tremendous loss, but it was not the same. And so I really enjoyed sort of giving her her own story, but letting my emotions go into it so that I could really, really, I hope, portray what it's like to have that experience, so that readers would hopefully understand why, when it could seem a little callous to maybe not want to be with a single dad, why she felt that way. And ultimately how she healed in that process of finding love and joy again with this person that she had a relationship with previously. So that's why I decided on this particular one within the matchmaking setting.
Yeah. And I think the your personal experience allowed you to tune into the emotions, because I think I know as for myself as a reader of A Heart to Find, I felt Kiara's pain. And I'm a huge single dad hero fan. So there was a part of me that's like, well, how does she not love him? But then when you get the emotions that you were able to pour into it from personal experience, you really feel why she's being so cautious. It really comes through on the page. So definitely, yeah.
It can be tricky because obviously I don't want anybody to read it and think, well, this was Amanda's life, because it wasn't. It was a
No.
completely different scenario. Everything was different about it. The only thing that was the same consistently was that, was the emotions of having an experience where children are removed from somebody for no wrongdoing,
on that person's part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm glad that came through for you.
Definitely came through. How did you choose the title for this book? What significance does it hold? A Heart to Find.
Okay. Well, this is another kind of roundabout answer, but the original title was, I'm probably going to fumble it, which is part of why I changed it, but is that Powdered Sugar Kisses and Matchmaking Wishes, which I did like. It kind of sounds like. But then when we got to the point where we were designing covers together, and Christine's book is A Star to Hold, which, by the way, I have to, I'll read this one, book one in our series. So A Star to Hold was such a fun title, and my title was not meshing, especially as we were designing the cover. So we sort of brainstormed. I was like, maybe we could do something that's makes it more series oriented. So in this book, A Heart to Find, they are trying to literally find heart, well, I guess that would not be literal because they have hearts of their own, but they're trying to find this love for their hearts. But also she has a heart locket that she received from her grandparents, and it's very, very special to her. Their relationship is the reason she's at this resort to begin with, and she loses it during a date with, and it's sort of the pivotal point for her. It makes her question whether she's on the right path. And so it just sort of fit with that. So that's how we ended up with that title. And I have no regrets.
No. It just sounds like when we're talking about the books too, to have them have that same kind of cadence to the titles just really works. So I love the title. How is this book different from other books that you've written?
Well, you mentioned the name of my website, the Amanda Book First. See, I don't even know what it is. So many things to remember today. I did that because I write so many different things, and conventional wisdom is to kind of like stay in our lane as writers, and one can't do it. I know, Christine, you're the same. It's like sort of impossible for us to really write the same thing. So I like to branch out in different areas. Traditionally, I've sort of built my career on like light, steamy romance. That was sort of the main thing that I have written. But Christine and I don't even know. We were just going through a thing with we both really love like the Hallmark kind of vibe, So we decided, what, why don't we try to write something together that's sort of this like more like wholesome. I don't like the term clean, but it is kind of in the industry what they call this sort of book where there's no intimacy on page, no swearing, things like that. And those are some things that we could find in our other books. But so that was a departure from what I normally write. It is sort of what I'm writing moving forward. But yeah, we just were sort of up for a little challenge. We're like, how can we make this as romantic and as emotional? We both, I think, believe that intimacy is an important part of a relationship. And that's why, it seemed very natural to put it on page in like our previous books. But, we were like, let's see if we could do it. Let's make it a rule that they literally cannot have any intimacy at this resort. And it gave a little bit of fun for building tension and for, just like making them have to find their way in their relationship without that.
Yeah, I remember the two of us sitting in Panera planning out this, and we're like, oh, what if there is a contract that they have to sign that there'll be no like physical intimacy until their 2 weeks is up? And again, the two of us kind of sitting there giggling like evil villains, like we're just gonna have them build this tension and not be able to really do anything physical about it, like beyond kissing and like beyond hand holding. And at the time, I think we were both like, can we do this? Because we didn't do it previously. But I think we both had the experience of what that was like. It was really refreshing to do it this way. And it allowed us to really tune in at the matchmaking resort of having these different date experiences, and how can we show you their closeness through the dates, like the scene that I just read. I mean, them having this little paint fight and laughing and being goofy together. I mean, there's nothing sexual about that scene at all, yet the tension is there. You're like, they're falling for each other again, and they're like, yeah, they're soulmates. Like, it just jumps out at you without any sort of physical intimacy. So
Right. Yeah, it was a fun challenge because I feel like in previous books, I'm always thinking like, okay, how soon can I get them alone? You know, how soon can they, you know, do this or that, or, you know, and in this, it was like, okay, when are they going to be ready to like touch hands?
yes.
And building up to that is actually very fun, because if you think back, you know, we've both been in committed relationships for a very long time. So I have to think way back. But, you know, you think about those first sparks of a relationship. And I feel like those are the things like, they're so deeply meaningful. Like that first kiss, that first touch, that first just bump of an arm when you're walking. You know, there's something very sweet and romantic. And also, you know, I feel like it can be a little steamy, even though there's not a lot of steam being generated. It's, you know.
Well, it's that first moment where, I mean, whenever you have those first kinds of touches like that, very simple touches, like in my mind, I'm just visioning like two ends of like a cord, like just touching and like zap, you know, and it's so simple. And again, I mean, even with them, their hands both touch the same tube of paint. You know, it's that like typical Lady and the Tramp, like eating the spaghetti, right? And the noses meet. And I mean, you know, that's an animated cartoon with dogs, but you see it and you're like, oh, look, you know? Yeah, and it's like those I think we really got to play very much with those kind of moments in these books, where in the past, like we've always written those kinds of things, but then we follow them up later with, you know, a sexy time. So it was nice to just kind of, you know, plop in these little points of sparks really throughout. So yeah.
And that's a good point. I think we both write like sweet with heat, you know, like there is on pages, but there's always been that kind of sweet aspect of it, you know, like, which is, you know, has always been fun. It wasn't too much.
No. And I think, you know, the sexy times that you and I write in our other books, there's even a sweetness to them. Like there's an emotional level to them. It's not just about what goes where and when. It's just, we're always kind of in tune with that. My editor is someone who always says, she's like, I always love reading, you know, your sexy time scenes. She's like, because you give me just enough description that I can picture it, but then you set me off to like picture my own thing with it, you know, like don't over describe it or whatever. So
and there's always an emotional growth in those scenes and like a reason why they're there.
Yes. And I think very easily in reading these two books in the Sweetheart Island Resort series is, even though we didn't describe all that, I mean, I think once you finish the books, you can picture the two of them together in a sexy time scene, you know? Yeah, like we've sent them off to now do that, you know, to now finally get to that place. So yeah. So, I mean, that clean, sweet, and that steamy, spicy debate, you know, is a big one in romance. And I think you and I have kind of chosen to not stay in our lane and to explore both. Whatever the muse says to do, we're in for it. We're in for the ride. When she screams up in the car and she's like, "Hey, get in," we're like, "All right, let's do it."
Okay, where we going?
Yep, whatever it is, we're in.
Absolutely. And I think like our books, like anybody who has read any of our books, I think you're gonna get the same idea. Like if you read an Amanda Torrey book or an Amanda Dare, which is one of my women's fiction alter ego, you're getting the same type of book, even if it's a teen book that is paranormal. You're getting the same sort of like empowerment, growth, like personal development, healing. My books always feature a lot of like healing. It was never intentional, but it's definitely something. I literally have a romance series called Healing Springs. You know, like it's just something that it really calls to me. And so you're getting that in any book of mine that you pick up, whether it's paranormal or small town contemporary or sweet matchmaking island or family drama. You're sort of, that's a consistent thing. Yeah,
for your brand. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, same for me. Even if I'm writing about a pack of werewolves, they're still in a small town in Vermont. So yeah, that's where you're gonna find them. Yeah, they exist right alongside my contemporary characters. It's all there, and that's the magic of Vermont.
Absolutely. You never
You
know what
never
kind of
know.
thing.
Yeah, you never know what's in the woods. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Who
yeah,
you're sitting next to in the tavern.
yeah. I mean, who's wearing that buffalo plaid? Is it a werewolf? Is it just a mountain man? We don't know. It could be both.
Could be.
Could be. So, okay. Moving on. A major trope in A Heart to Find is second chance, which I know readers love. I love as well. What about this trope appeals to you?
Oh my gosh, I find myself so drawn to second chance. And I know that a lot of people are like, ugh, exes, you know. I
Hmm.
think for me personally, I love the idea of people working on themselves and improving themselves.
Mhm.
And it can often be a very fictional belief. You know, you don't
Mm.
really necessarily see it a lot in real life, but I love the fact that people can be introspective and put the work in to improve themselves and learn about relationships. And it probably helps that my partner and I were high school sweethearts, and then, you know, we
Hmm.
split up for many, many years and then got back together and have been together for many, many years. So I think it's just very nostalgic for me. And I don't know, I just really love that pull. I feel like when you have a history with someone, but they're actually different
Mm.
than they were the first time. So though you do have some of those same issues to work out, but you're kind of different people as you age or as life gives you different challenges, and a lot can happen in a decade or more, you know.
Mm. Mm.
So it's just really interesting for me to explore it because it could very easily be like, no, I'm not going back with that person ever. And that is often the correct thing. You know?
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
there are not a lot of exes that I would want to, you know, have a, you know.
Yeah, and I think that your idea of, you know, that people can change and improve really does come through in this book, you know, for Jared and for Kiara. You know, they both have had experiences in the time that they were apart that makes them different now and makes them perfect for each other now.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about Second Chance too is that, you know, when, you know, your path might cross with someone at one point and okay, maybe it didn't work out, but the fact that years go by, you know, and your paths cross again makes it feel like destined in a way, like makes it feel like fated mates, you know?
Yes.
So,
Confidence.
yeah, so you need to, you know, seeing these characters, you know, be wary. I mean, Jared's not wary. He's like, no, this is it. This is what needs to be happening. Kira obviously is the one that's wary, but she also seems to be the one that was more hurt when it didn't work out the last time with Jared. So the fact too that he humbles himself in a way to show her how he's changed. You know, you mentioned about putting the work in on himself. Like he clearly has done that. He's gotten to a place. I mean, he's had a marriage, he's had a child, he's had his travel experiences. I mean, he's gone through all of these things, as Kiara has as well. But you know, and now the fact that they're meeting up again, although it was a little bit orchestrated, but it you know, that chance, it feels like a chance that needs to be seized, you know. So that's yeah.
And I would just say, like, I would never want to write a second chance irresponsibly. I would never want to say, like, oh, this person was a toxic presence in your life. This person was abusive or anything like that. Those people, no, we're not doing second chances with that. I think, especially in this case and in other second chance books that I've written, they weren't right for each other at that time, but they were both good people. They both made mistakes, the mistakes of youth or the mistakes of inexperience, but they didn't do bad things to each other. And that's something I really feel passionately about. So definitely second chance, responsible second chance.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and you know, like you said about them being young, and you know, when you're the age that they were when they were together, high school, whatever, and then, you know, getting out of high school and then thinking about careers that you've dreamt about, you know, as a child, and then you've got to kind of go for it. I mean, that's not bad, trying to go for your dreams. And again, like you said, they were right for each other then, but circumstances pulled them apart, and now they're even more right for each other now. So it makes that reunion even sweeter. So,
and they've learned how to communicate by this point. You know, where who knows how to communicate when they're in high school? I mean, come on, like misunderstand. Nobody likes misunderstandings in a book, but like
that's life. That's life.
When you're in high school. who's talking things out really well.
Yeah, exactly. What are some of your other favorite tropes to write?
Oh gosh. Well, I like friends to lovers. I think that that's a really, I've tried writing some like enemies to lovers. I don't think I can ever really make them very enemies, very strong enemies. You know, they're more like annoyance to lover. I don't know. So I really like the friend thing of like, how where do you cross that line? Where does it sort of go? I really just like, sort of, I don't know. Second chance seems to be my favorite. I like when people sort of let me think. I don't know. I love, like I said, the healing journey of like any, I don't know if that's really tropey, but it definitely is a theme, you know, but it definitely works in my books. And just anything kind of like, I love like family issues.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's a trope, but I definitely those work their way in too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are so many tropes, and I feel like there are like new tropes that come on the scene too. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know about that one. You know,
Brother's Best Friend, really like that one. That one, like, it's a little bit of the forbidden, but it's also like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
There's that, but it's almost like a second chance kind of thing, because it's usually, you know, they knew each other as kids, but they never. But then as they're older, now a 2 or 3 year age difference isn't a big deal anymore. And it's just a different kind of.
Yeah. Well, and friends to lovers overlaps good with that brother's best friend too, because usually, you know, there's a friendship there too. Yeah. Just because that person has been around a lot, you know, so in the proximity. So good. All right, let's see. Oh, for A Heart to Find, you chose a winter setting, which again, we're in a coastal resort, Maine. So what made you choose a winter setting?
I think I just like to make things difficult for myself. It's like, I mean, they're at the beach. Why not make it winter? Maybe that's because of my, you know, Irish skin.
Maybe, yeah. You didn't want them to have to apply any sunscreen throughout.
Although that could have been romantic. Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
Hold on, let me make a note. Yeah, I think because I was following up with yours, and I was thinking when we designed these, and you had more of like the summer theme. I think when we designed the resort, we were like, oh, we could have like different areas of the resort that are geared toward the different seasons, and it really appealed to me. And I'm like, oh well, let's go to another season. And so yeah, I went with winter, and also and maybe again, this is nostalgia because, you know, when I had my high school relationship with the person that I'm with now, again, I remember sledding being a very fun, sort of intimate without being intimate kind of thing, you know, being on that sled together and you're like cozy and you're having fun and you're laughing. So I think I just sort of pictured that for them. And it was fun. It was almost like it gave more of a challenge. And it also was along like that Hallmark coziness vibe. You know, it wasn't Christmassy, but it was like the small town. They have their little village with their main street on this island where they have all these shops and everything. And I just pictured it with the snow falling and, you know, just felt cozy.
I was going to say that a cozy vibe definitely came through because of that winter setting. And again, you know, you didn't make it like Arctic where they can't, you can't get around. Although they do get snowbound there.
Well, and that's the other thing I just remembered. And as far as tropes, I do like the forced proximity. Like you might want to get away, but you're not gonna, you know. So I think I did need. I don't remember now because it's been a while since I wrote this. I've written many books since then. But I don't know if it came up in the beginning when I was choosing seasons or if it was more of something that I came up with as the plot was progressing. But I really wanted a storm because I wanted her to want to get away. Like when they have a conflict, you know, because she had to work through her desire to run. And I didn't want to make it easy for her. I wanted her to really have to kind of be confronted with this issue, you know, and like have to work it out. So yeah, they had to stay. And
I love it when Mother Nature, you know, is like, I got to come in here and fix this. That nobody's going anywhere.
So fate is here. We're checking into the resort.
And we're staying the whole time and we're going to get this done.
It was sort of like that idea of making the weather a character, you know, so it does. A lot of their dates are influenced around sort of what's happening with the weather. And, Jared keeps saying, oh, storm's coming, storm's coming. She's like, yeah, okay, but it's beautiful weather. It's like unseasonably warm. Sure, yeah, a storm's coming, and then it does.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you get that double meaning of a storm's coming because you as the reader don't know if it's going to work out with them. So there's a storm just within their pairing. And then you've got the weather, kind of reflecting that. And even the, all right, you're snowbound, you've got the weather being like, nope, you've got to stay together and figure this out. And then, weather clears and they're on the other side of it. And so, yeah, it's really very symbolic. Yeah. Well done.
Thank you. I'm not sure if it was intentional. It could have been. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure it was a stroke of pure genius. That's what it was. So yes, that you can only get from a mandatory book. So
or Christine DePetrillo book as well.
So are you more of a Kiera, so a planner, or more of a Jared, an adventurer in real life?
Well, I appreciate that you stifled your laugh on that one because.
Yeah, I always couldn't get the word planner.
I know she's joking a little, but clearly I am not a planner. I mean, I do try to plan things, but I'm definitely more of the adventurer in my day-to-day life.
Good. We need those. To balance out the planners. That's it, So, all right. So this matchmaking resort idea, that might be something that a parent would kind of keep from a little kid like Haley, Jared's daughter. But you chose to have Haley know all about it right from the beginning. She's even excited about the fact that he's going to, find a new mommy. And she actually knows a big secret about why her mom, Jared's late wife, wanted Jared to go to Sweetheart Island Resort so badly. So what made you decide to kind of have Haley know about it and be in on it? What's your thinking behind all that?
That's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. I think, conventional wisdom would be you don't really involve a 3-year-old. I think she's 3. Yeah, you don't really involve like a 3 or 4-year-old. God, I can't remember how old she is, but she's little.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
In this sort of thing. However, big spoilers on this section, but Jared had married his best friend when he was off traveling. And it was sort of like after he realized what he had lost with Kiera when they were young. And he's like, oh, maybe I can duplicate that. I love this person. And they realize that it's not really a romantic love match. But she asks for a divorce. He and then she finds out she has a terminal illness. So she's going to die. He's like, I'm not going to leave you. I love her. She's my best friend. We have a child together. So he stays, even though she did not want him to. So her last dying wish is that she knows that his soulmate was Kiera. She didn't know Kiera because they met after this, but she knows him, so I thought like I needed a way for him later to find out. I think when I was first drafting this book, it was just going to be like this coincidence that they ended up in this island together and were matched. But it didn't feel genuine to me because it felt too mystical, for what I was writing. And so I was like, well, what if she in her, dying days, was like trying to make sure the person she loves found his way toward love again. What if she found out that Kiera was going to be on this island and she can't influence the matchmaking process? But she felt that if they could just get together in this place, they're going to be matched. Like they're soulmates. He knows it. He knows. Everybody knows it. So I think one of her like bonding things with Haley, and possibly as a way for her to help Haley kind of move forward with life after this. Little children this age don't really understand death and loss this way, but she wanted to make sure that Haley was going to accept whoever came into Jared and Haley's life after she was gone. And so I just thought it would be kind of a fun mother-daughter thing to be like, hey, look, we're going to do this little secret and you can't tell until after. You can tell once, but we want Daddy to be surprised, and she keeps it, she does a good job. Like she doesn't spoil it until the very end. It kind of slips out, but it's all right. It's an okay time.
Yes.
And it just sort of made things feel more comfortable for Jared knowing that his late wife really orchestrated it because he's thinking this is a wild coincidence.
Right.
That she just happens to be here. So when he finds out that she knew that
Mm.
Kara would be there. It makes more sense to all of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think too, like the fact that to Haley, him going seemed like almost like another one of his adventures, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, he's going, and the fact that he was gonna, bring back someone who would, possibly also make good pancakes like her mom made,
Yeah.
it just brings them all together. And in the end, bringing Kiera into the duo of Jared and Haley, it's all gonna work out. So yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
a way for his late wife to orchestrate that healing
yeah.
process for her daughter and for her husband
Mm.
and for everybody to
Yeah.
sort of be okay.
Yeah, I think it's one of those moments in the book too where you're like, oh, the wife knew, like she set it all up on purpose. And it's like one of those, like my eyes like pricked, with tears. Like I was like, oh, how sweet, like that she got, went that extra mile to like really make sure he got his soulmate. I mean, that's something there, let me tell you. All right. At one point, Kiera and her new friend, Megan, that she met at Sweetheart Island, they're sitting on a bench, and there's a red bird present that Kiera takes to be a sign from her grandmother. We also have the locket that has sign-related qualities to it. There's also seeing deer. So my question to you, I guess more as a person than as an author, is do you believe in signs?
I think I do. I want to. I think that's the biggest thing is that, like, I think we do try to look for meaning in loss. And I think when you, like, I think it's natural to want to feel somebody that you lost nearby. So, yeah, I mean, if, there are things that I see in life where I'm like, oh, okay, that person's with me still. And it's just a reassuring, comforting feeling. And yeah, I think I do.
Yeah. It became a point for me in reading, like kind of looking for signs, like where else are there going to be some sprinkles of signs in here? So yeah, cool.
It was really important for Kiera because she needed to feel she was on the right path, because she went there because she wanted to have what her grandparents had. She wanted to emulate that love, and like her grandparents knew from like the minute they met, and she wanted that. And I don't know that she was really getting that exact thing. So she needed to sort of like be like, all right, I'm on the right path. My grandmother's here. She's guiding me. She's with me. I can feel it, and so give her a way to sort of tune into her own intuition too, feeling guided.
Yeah, especially too when she finds out that her match is Jared, suddenly it feels wrong in her mind. She's like, well, this can't be right. So that little sprinkling of signs is sort of like, no, trust the soulmate science and trust what's happening here, because this is right. So yeah,
these founders wouldn't lie to you.
Yeah,
they wouldn't even manipulate it.
Let's see. Keeping on the vein of Megan and Kiera, that friendship is pretty precious. You refer to them as sisters of the heart. Why was it important for you to give Kiera this person in her life at this moment?
I mean, I think we all need friends, girlfriends, like close friends to us, like Kiera, like what is her name? Kiera had a best friend at home who wasn't going to be there. She was going to be, essentially on her own. And so she meets Megan on the ferry, and they just really connect. And I love when that happens. Like that's something that sort of happened when you and I, like we just like really connected, and have been good friends since then. And I think it's like so important in different aspects of your life to have people that just are there with you for the journey. And I didn't want to see Kara going through it on her own. And Megan really needed this support too. She had sort of a sad backstory with her relationships. And, she really needed someone to cheer her on and to encourage her. They needed someone to walk into that room together.
Yes. Yeah. I love it when characters are in, real life, you get that click right away. I mean, they just met like right then and there, but you would have sworn that they've been friends forever. It's like, I always think about like, well, did they travel together in a past life,
Right. Good point.
Now again. Yeah. So that friendship came across as like, very real, even though it happened so quickly, so. And
I love when it happens in real life. Like when you really connect with someone, you're like, oh yeah, like we're soul sisters. We're sisters. Like we're meant to be friends, and that's such a good feeling.
That is a good feeling. Yeah, definitely. And again, I like how you mentioned how it was like a mutual support because they both needed something in order to kind of move forward on this crazy thing that they were doing by going to the resort. So definitely.
And you sort of see it later with the nervous couple at the end that Jared sort of takes under his wing. I feel like that heroine needed a friend, you know, and she didn't
Yes.
have. So like I just thought of it right now, literally. So I don't think I wrote it intentionally or used it, but it does sort of show the difference between when you have a friend there to sort of like encourage you and help you get past your insecurities versus not, where they were at almost at the end of this 2 weeks and they still were finding their footing and sort of needed, you know, Jared and Kiara sort of helped them a little bit within that time frame.
Yeah.
You know, they would have benefited from having their friends too.
Right. Cool. The ex-fiance who cheated on Kiara with her sister, no less, it's just kind of like a quick mention. Every once in a while, I have to say, as a reader, I would remember that and be like, so did you consider including more of that confrontation, or, you know, is there a reason that you just quick mention and set it aside?
You know, I did consider adding more about him, but I thought he was less significant than what she went through with her sister. Because I think like her sister's betrayal was so much deeper. Like, yes, having a fiance cheat on you with your sister must be horrible. That is not something I've ever experienced. But, you know, that would be traumatic. That would be horrible. But having your sister do it to you, I think, is just a million times worse. You know, and I can't speak. I mean, like I said, I haven't endured that. I don't know. But based on what I know of families versus partners, I think that family is supposed to be there for you. They're supposed to have your back. They're supposed to cherish you the way you cherish them. And, you know, Kiara was somebody who always put her family first and who did everything for them and, you know, sacrificed a lot of parts of her life for them. So to have her sister do this to her was just so much more damaging. The guy, she can sort of forget, you know, he was just a guy. There are a million other ones. You don't get a lot of sisters if you have one, you know, so I thought that that was just the more interesting thing for Kiara. That was more of the, if he had cheated with somebody else, I think there would have been more about that in there. If he just cheated with a friend or someone from work or someone she didn't know, then that would have been like the critical moment for her. But it just came down to the sister betrayal was so much more intense. And she didn't just lose a sister, she lost a big part of her family because they all kind of had to take sides. And so that was sort of she had a, you know, if she lost the fiance, she would be grieving a relationship, but she was grieving a whole life, a whole history. Her whole life was her family, and she'd known them since, you know, birth. So to lose them was just such a more critical thing. So it was sort of, intentional, where I didn't want him to be the focus. I didn't want him to be, you know, I didn't want it to be sort of like the male gaze of like, what you do to me influences my whole life. But like what your family does to you kind of does, because you really get those deep wounds. So
like you said,
the fact I did, but it just, you know.
Definitely the betrayal of the sister was the highlight there, and it also highlights spending more time on the sister's betrayal, highlights, like you said, the loss of family, and then makes Kiara's gain of a family with Jared and Haley all the much better, you know. So cool.
And that was the thing too, because she, you know, like her sister even cheating with the fiance was terrible, but the worst part was the sister taking away her niece and nephew. That was the part that really, like, it was like a death for her, you know. And like, you know, I imagine, you know, you can move on from betrayals, you know, you can whatever, but to have that loss when you never thought that would happen, that was the thing she had to really heal from.
Because that's a true blindside, really. You don't expect that.
Right.
Okay. So both of the books, A Star to Hold and A Heart to Find, explore the theme of worthiness and of being enough. Because, you know, Kiara kind of has that thinking that she wasn't enough for her family if they could dismiss her so easily. So why do you think that's an important message to get out there?
Well, first of all, I love that we didn't plan that part.
I know,
That's something that was very natural that happened in these books. I just think when you're exploring relationships, there's so much of that piece of us that doesn't necessarily always believe that we're enough, or that if something went wrong, you know, we're like, well, what did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? And so I just think it's a very natural feeling. And I mean, if there's anyone watching this who has never experienced that, please tell me your secret. I want to hear how you got to that point, because I just feel like it's something I hear from my friends a lot, you know, all throughout my life. Whenever there's things like, oh, why this, why that, you know. So I don't know. I think it's just a very, and once you find that person who doesn't make you feel like you're not worthy, or doesn't make you feel like you're not enough, that's when you know they're the right one for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never feel that way. Never feel that you are not like everything. You can have faults, you know, you can have things that aren't, you know, the best about you. Not that we know anything about that.
No, we don't. No. But that's a good gauge in a relationship, though, like feeling that the other person feels you're enough. So, and then, I mean, not that you want to rely on somebody else, but like when you know you're enough for someone else, like you feel like enough for yourself too. Like it's just a boost in a way. So,
well, that's the thing. Like, I don't think it's that somebody has to convince you. I feel like you just feel it. You know, like I think you can just learn to feel that. And when you feel that about yourself, you're going to be more drawn to somebody who treats you like that.
Right.
You know?
Definitely. Yeah. Good message in both. What kind of reader did you have in mind while writing A Heart to Find?
I wanted a reader who just really wanted to escape from all the dark stuff in the world, you know, like who just wanted to have, you know, a little bit of depth, but not, you know, some fluff too, you know, like just some fun, you know, like I think when I was going through all this stuff with my family, I really relied on watching like those Hallmark Christmas movies, which, you know, there's not a lot to them, but that's what I liked. You know, I liked just having something joyful and, you know, that I didn't have to think too hard or feel too deeply. It really was very therapeutic for me. So I sort of had that in mind when I was writing this one. I just wanted someone who like wanted to see the power of love, who wanted to experience this sort of like falling back in love feeling, and who just wanted a little escape into this beautiful resort and this lovely matchmaking island, and should just imagine the possibilities.
Yeah, I think the kind of getting readers to take a break from their lives and go to Sweetheart Island Resort is like the key of the series there. Like you're kind of taken out of your real life and into this little setting that's self-contained where magic kind of happens there. So
that's why I loved your intro with like travel with us to here, because I do feel like that's something they physically have to travel there no matter where they're coming from. They have to get on a ferry to get to this island. And it's kind of takes you out of that the old place you were.
Agreed. Let's see. What draws you to writing romance versus other genres?
Oh, the hope of it all. You know, just the love. I mean, I have loved romance since I was a child. You know, I mean, we all have watched the Disney movies and, you know, everything. And I have written things that are not strictly romance, but there's always some kind of romance in there. You know, it's life. It's real life. I think, you know, and I want to write romance that feels good, that convinces you that you can have a person that loves you, treats you well, cares about your needs, your wants, everything, you know, and it's just, I mean, there's no better genre.
Yeah, agreed.
Lots of different things, romance.
Yeah, I mean, I too, I've written other things. I mean, I wrote a historical romance, but somehow even, you know, in planning that out and in researching the facts, like I'm like, there needs to be a love story in here. And even as a viewer, when I watch movies, if there's not some sort of love interest, something going on, I'm like, it was okay. But if there's a love interest going on, I'm like glued to it. I need to know how it turns out.
You know, we need someone to root for. We need someone to root for in life. And we need the hope and the joy. And I think the romance genre in general, it's something that gives women hope. I mean, anybody can read them. Men, I think you should read them as well. But like, there's just, life can be hard. Bad things happen. And when you know, you're talking about your book that, you know, the World War II book, you know, and it's like, bad things were happening.
Yeah.
You know, like, to be able to focus on something like love, I think that gets us through every day. I often see that like dancing and joy is like a form of resistance when things are going wrong. It's, you know, we might feel bad about experiencing joy, but we shouldn't, because that, you know, the world tries to keep me down. We need to like rise and have our romance and have our joy.
Yes. Yeah. And have our love. I was in a meeting yesterday and somebody said more love is always the answer. And I was like, yes, it is.
Oh my God. I need that bumper sticker.
Yeah. No, I wrote it down, put it in quotes. I was like, yeah, this is right. And it's that quote is right in a lot of things, including romance novels. So
absolutely.
All right. So now so you survived the longer in-depth questions. So good. Take a breath. So now we're going to have some rapid fire, this or that related to a heart to find. So here we go.
I'm ready.
So coffee shop coffee or lobby barista coffee?
Coffee shop. Gotta have the ambiance.
Hot cocoa with extra marshmallows or fancy English tea?
Ooh, that's hard. I'm gonna have to go with the English tea because the hot cocoa has to be dairy free, because maybe like.
All right.
But I do love hot cocoa with extra marshmallows.
Powdered donuts or chocolate chip cookies?
That's mean to ask. Can I love both? Why
you can. You can.
Yeah.
I'm myself a cookie person. I also I like apple cider donuts. I mean, I'm waiting that we're in the season for that now, but like donuts as a whole, no, I'll go for the cookies.
I mean, I'm definitely more of a chocolate chip cookie, especially if it's crispy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Homemade disaster pasta, which I loved, or pasta from a box.
Homemade disaster pasta.
Yeah. French toast with maple syrup or spinach omelet with fruit?
The French toast, though I should want the spinach omelet.
Yeah,
and all of these are making me want to go to your more than pancakes and more than
well, I was going to say the French toast, it better be pure Vermont maple syrup. Absolutely. Or throw it away. Throw it away if it's.
I think that's actually in my book. I think I did link to your book in
sledding adventure or ice skating romance?
Sledding, because I am terrified of breaking a hip.
Yeah, I like sledding. My butt's already on the ground where it's going to end up anyways. So let's put it there. Painting Scottish castles or making matching mugs?
Castles. Mine would look like a jagged rock most likely. But
snowy beach walk or wooded path stroll?
Oh,
that's a tough one.
I like both. Can it be wooded path while it's snowy?
Yeah. Or the beach walk takes you to the wooded path,
Yes. Yes. I'd probably have to pick the wooded path, but I do love a snowy beach.
A snowy beach at night.
Under full moon.
Yes. Now we're doing it.
Yep.
All right. It says the two pale girls who burn at the word sun. Never mind the actual sun. Yes. First kiss in the snow or kiss by a fireplace?
Oh, the snow. I can't even imagine anything more romantic than that.
Yeah. Under a street light, with it just.
With like the shimmery, glittery snow falling around you and you're warming each other. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, love it. Grand romantic gesture or quiet, intimate moment?
Quiet, intimate moment. That's hard to say. I'm not someone who would want to be like proposed to in public.
Yeah. No. Oh gosh, no. Yeah. Especially if you were going to say no.
Yeah, I know. Champagne problems.
Yeah, I'm always worried about that one. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, so now we have some would you rather questions. So would you rather be like Kiera, a careful planner, or be like Megan, dive in head first?
I'd rather be like Kiera and be a planner, which is why I'm always jealous of you, Christine DePetrillo. But I think I just go head first.
Yeah, I would like to try to dive in head first, but I can't. I'll get to the edge of the diving board and be like, wait, but what about this? Have we planned for this? What about that?
I think of that after I'm in the water. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. Well, actually, my first thought at the end of the diving board is, shit, I can't swim. So that's then it's the diving first. Okay. All right. Would you rather date someone like Jared, adventurous, or date someone like Matt, who was Megan's match, who was immediately smitten?
I'm gonna go with Matt because my partner is that. He's like the smitten kitten, and I'm the adventurous one. And he really supports my adventurousness, but he likes to stay home with the dogs. So he would travel with me if I had to, but I really like to go on my own or with friends. So it works out. So
yeah, nice.
That's the opposite.
Would you rather receive texts that end with heart eyes emojis or texts that just, period only? That's it.
Oh, if it's just a period, I think someone's mad at me. So like, give me all the emojis, please.
Okay, so readers, if you contact Amanda, emoji heavy. Don't just end it with a period.
Period is
no.
like,
But
yeah,
exclamation points are good to show excitement. That's always welcome.
And if you get a message from me, it's going to be full of all of those because I want no one misunderstanding.
I love it. Would you rather fall through the ice or fall off a stool?
I'm going to go with off the stool because I don't want to be that cold.
Yeah. Would you rather be around storms coming energy or that calm before the storm peace?
Oh, I love both, but the storms coming energy like fuels me like nothing else.
Yes.
I love when like we're getting a big storm, any kind of storm, a blizzard. Like, I don't want just like snowing every day or just raining every day. I get a little like low energy for those. But if there's like a blizzard coming, or if there's like a huge thunderstorm with big winds, give me all those.
Yeah, agreed. There's something about that storms coming energy that like makes people pause in their like everyday day-to-day life kind of stuff, because you'll like pause, maybe you'll make some preparations, but there's like an excitement somehow. Even, I mean, there might be some fear, but there's some like, what's going to happen,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, unfortunately, to live in a place where we don't get like really dramatic kinds of things happen. So, I mean, if I lived in somewhere where we're going to flood, that would be different.
Yeah.
Being in a safe place, relatively safe, anything can happen. But yeah, just that buildup of like the energy and the wind.
Yeah, I find calm before the storm to be almost ominous sometimes. Like that stillness is
you don't hear any birds.
Yes.
You see a squirrel running around, you're like, they're hunkering down, something's happening.
Not
what
right.
Is it?
Yes. All right. And last, would you rather go on double dates or have alone time with your soulmate?
Alone time.
Good. All right. Final questions. What are you working on now? What's next? What's coming up? Don't leave us hanging. We need to know.
I'm hopefully in October going to be releasing a cozy witchy romance. It's very cozy, like very enchanted, like enchanted appliances, magical world that's like an invisible sister town to Salem, Mass. And so there's like that whole story there. There's like a tree that's in trouble and needs like the healing of the witches. They need to be called in, and it's just a joy to write. It's so fun. It's of course a romance, and it's a Beauty and the Beast trope. So like, I know, right? But that's what I should say. He's freaking love them. And because it's like this cozy fantasy romance, he's like beastly in appearance, which I really enjoyed because I have written a beastly trope before, but they're human, so he has this curse that needs to be lifted, and he's got the beastly features, but she still finds him very attractive. However, it is clean, wholesome, so very much along these vibes of,
I love it. Yeah, you definitely need to lead with it being a Beauty and the Beast trope, because that's I can't pass up a Beauty and the Beast thing. If that's mentioned, I'm in totally.
Wow. I'm glad to have you.
that is definitely my favorite. If there's like fairy tale retelling or fairy tale like alignment somehow, if it's Beauty and the Beast, like
me too,
so good. So looking forward to that October. Good.
I can't believe I didn't mention that in the tropes section. How did I forget Beauty and the Beast trope?
It's good stuff. And what are you reading right now?
So right now I'm reading Great Big Beautiful Life. I think that's the title, by Emily Henry. It's her newer book. Really good. Love it. Almost done.
Cool.
Really enjoyable. I love her books.
Good. All right. Very, very good. Thanks for letting us behind the scenes.
I hope I didn't scare you too much.
No, I don't think so. I think you've magnetically attracted more in with this interview. I mean, it's so fun. It's so fun to like dig deeper into an author's mind and talk more about such a wonderful book. I mean, A Heart to Find does have it all. I mean, family trauma, secrets, super fun banter, adorable dates. I mean, there's so much to love on these pages, and I hope that I hope that everyone has read it and then, comes and enjoys this interview. It's definitely one that you're going to want to reread. And remember that you can connect with Amanda in lots of ways, and she'll be really nice to you, guaranteed.
Heart
Yeah.
emojis always.
Yes, right. So, I mean, how can you not want to contact someone that's going to send you heart eyes emojis? I mean, that's what you need in your life. So you can, again, visit her website, theamandabookverse.com, author page, Amanda Torrey author on Facebook, Facebook reader group, Amanda Torrey's World of Whimsy Bookverse.
Which has like hardly anybody in it right now. So it's a good time to really get to know everybody.
Yeah, just rush in there, populate that group, get it going on in there. And you can follow her on Amazon, Goodreads, and BookBub for all the new release news. And you want to make sure that you check out Amanda's other books. The Healing Spring series happens to be one of my favorites. And that's where Kiera in this book is from, and Jared, right? They both were from there. Yes. So, if you want to get a taste of, where they're from, their small town, go ahead and pick up that Healing Springs series. You will not be disappointed. And if you haven't read A Star to Hold too, I mean, these can be read in any order, but they just offer you some good times at Sweetheart Island Resort.
So much joy.
So much joy. And, just soulmate science is a perfected science. It's science you can believe in.
Yes. And you will find I love the founders that we created. We each wrote a different one. But they're these widows that met at a grief group when they lost their husbands when they were too young. And they didn't want to find new love, but they wanted to find love for everybody else. So that's how this was kind of born. And so Christine has one of the founders in her books, and I have another in mine. And it's so fun bringing them to life and just seeing how they interact with the people of the resort. So just another level.
Yeah, and seeing the different energy that those two founders kind of bring in order to make this whole resort work for their customers, their people that come and want to be managed. So, So thank you, Amanda. Thank you to everybody watching, and we hope you enjoy your time at Sweetheart Island Resort as much as we did.
Yes, thank you so much, Christine. I really enjoyed this interview.
Yes, me too.
From lots of you, and go read this book, and then also,
read this book. Yes, read them all.
Beautiful together.
They're so pretty. All right. Very good.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.